Whoa, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh, la da da da, oh, oh.
Hey there and welcome back to my channel. It's Lorena. I am a kindergarten teacher in the state of New Jersey. This is my 5th year teaching, and in today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas that you can do with your students if you are teaching virtually, and I am almost 1000% positive that you can also implement these if you are teaching in person.
Today, it's a chance to start over new, 'cause I missed you.
So I have been teaching virtually since the beginning of the school year. There is no set in stone date as to when we are going to go back. There is just an estimate, and that estimate is that students will potentially be coming back to schools for in-person learning in February. Now, we do know that things are constantly changing, so who knows how accurate that is, but nonetheless, I'm going to share with you some ideas that you can do with your students. That way, this whole virtual teaching is more fun, more engaging, and it's fun for everyone. You, me, kids, everyone. So I'm gonna go ahead and share those ideas with you. All right, so the first activity is watercolor sight words. Now this is something that you definitely can do in person. I'm sure many of you have already done this as part of your word work centers and stuff like that, activities, but you can also incorporate this virtually. So I always have my students have white sheets of paper available to them, and they already have their watercolors. So I'm going to have them write the words with their white crayons, and then we're going to go over it with holiday seasonal colors. So we're going to be using a lot of reds, greens, red, right? Yeah, so we'll be using a lot of red and a lot of green. And I think they're going to be so excited to see it, when it comes alive, when they get to see their word underneath it. Another activity you can do with your students virtually, and that I kind of thought of just on the spot, I was thinking, all right, what can I do to get my kids engaged? And that's gifts, presents. They're obsessed with it. So if you have old gift bags, if you have empty boxes, a great idea is to wrap them or put stuff in gift bags, whether it's, it could be literally any object that you have. And if you have, kids at home, you can definitely use some of their toys and put that in the gift bag. So there are tons of things that you can do with this. So I have a gift bag here, and obviously you can use bigger ones. If you have an empty box, you can put some aside, wrap it like I said before, and you're just gonna put objects in here. Now you're going to it's kind of like if you're doing like a magic show, like what's inside the bag. Let's count what's inside the bag. Let's just talk about what's inside the bag. What is the use of it? This is great for language, counting, literacy, so many things. So for example, you can do initial letter sounds. If I have a marker, marker. You can also do how many syllables are in the word marker. So as you're taking them out, your kiddos can have their dry erase boards with them, and then they can record whatever it is that you're asking of them. Whether it's to write down the initial letter sound, to write down how many syllables, to count with you, how many objects do I have, and you would take it out, 1, 2. I think they just get so excited, especially if you have like figurines or little toys that they love. I think it's super exciting and just a great thing, a great go-to to do kind of like at the end of the day when you have those like 10 spare minutes where you're like, what do I do with this time? You're like, hold up, let me run, put some stuff in a random bag and a random box and do it that way. So it's like a little mystery thing. So this is another activity. So typically when we're in the classroom, we're doing a lot of hands-on centers with laminated sheets, things inside sleeve protectors, so many fun, engaging things. It is obviously a little bit different, but you can still do the same activities with the same objective, just a little differently. So I'm going to show you a way that you can do that. So typically we do, I give my kids, some cards like this where they're going to, based on the number, add that number of ornaments, either using actual ornament figures, Play-Doh, a dry erase marker, whatever the case may be. So in order to adapt this so that they're able to do the same sort of activity virtually, what you can have your students do is draw a picture of a tree with no ornaments, simply just a star, the greenery and the trunk. After they do that, you can give them a number, and then you can say, all right, let's add 5 ornaments to our tree. They can use Play-Doh, they can use markers, they can use crayons, and they're going to go ahead and add that number of ornaments onto their tree. And then you guys, you keep doing this for a number of times. This way you're practicing kind of the one-to-one correspondence. Can they identify numbers? If you're showing it to them on a flashcard, can they identify this number and then show it to me as ornaments? So this is another activity you can do. Additionally, another activity that I used to do was, and I have to figure out where I got these little flashcards from, but what I would do is I would give students, what are they called? They're like the little lacing beads. I forget the name of it. I'll try to figure it out. But I get them in different colors. So yellow, blue, red, green, all those colors. And I have them add that number of colored beads onto their tree to reflect ornament. I'm obviously not able to give out, the little lacing beads to my students. So what I'm going to do is I can hold up this card or use it as a reference for myself and tell them, okay, we're going to draw on our Christmas tree 5 yellow ornaments, 2 blue ornaments, 5 red ornaments. So this way you're not only assessing their number skills, but you can also see if they, are aware of their colors, if they're able to recognize them, following directions. So many things that can come from these little tasks. And again, this one is pretty simple. You just need white paper, crayons, and white paper and crayons. Yeah, simply those 2 items. Obviously you can change it up. This is not something that you would kind of keep going just because they are going to have to be drawing the tree. So maybe if you just pick 2 sets of cards, this can be kind of an anticipatory set, an introduction to a new skill, or just like a fun end of the day activity. You can definitely do this with your kiddos. I'm going to try to find where I found these and link those below. Alright, so another activity, and this is one of my favorite activities, not only as a teacher, but as an adult, as a child, and that's creating wish lists. Now, typically what I would do is I would go to Target and pick up their holiday kind of circular, and I would get about 20 of them, bring them to the classroom, and have the kids pick out their wish list. Now, obviously I can't get circulars to them, but no fear, there are definitely alternatives. So what I would do is I would direct them as to how to draw their wish list. So we would, start to number things 1, 2, 3, 4 with space in between them. And I would tell them we're going to make a wish list. Now, if your kids are, kind of like where my kids are, where they are struggling with letter sounds and being able to write independently, I would just have them draw pictures of what it is. And then afterwards they can share. I think it's a very fun way for them to kind of be engaged, and they love to talk about things that are about them. So they'll definitely be more, comfortable talking about their wish list, comfortable sharing it with others. And this is also great for ELLs because since it's something that they're creating, they know exactly what it is that they're going to talk about, and it's a great way for them to practice their language skills. Another activity that we typically do in the classroom and kids love is count the room. This gets them up and moving and doing all those fun things. Unfortunately, we can't do this because we're not in the classroom, but nonetheless, if you do have your resources from your counter room, so I have these that I laminated from my first year, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the kiddos stand up, hold their whiteboards, and we're going to go ahead and count how many counters we see on the 10 frame, and they're going to write that number on their dry erase board. Now, the reason why I have them stand up is just that way they're not sitting the entire time, and you can even adapt this and have them, okay, if they write the number 9, put your dry erase board down, we're going to jump 9 times, we're going to count and jump, we're going to count and twirl, we're going to count and run, whatever the case may be. It's a great visual for them. It's something that you already have, and it's super quick, very low prep. So let's move on to another activity, and that is letters to Santa, or letters to anyone, honestly. So we can write letters to family for the holiday season, letters to Santa, which I know most kids are very big on. So encourage that. Encourage your letter writing. Maybe take out 10 minutes in your literacy book and just put on some holiday music. Tell them, take out a sheet of paper, take out your journal, take out your whiteboard, let's write a letter to X, to so-and-so. And you can obviously, talk to them about the format of a letter, but I wouldn't harp so much on those skills. It's just more like free writing. It's, something that they want to do, that they're excited to do. All right, so as you can see, I have all of the things that I've laminated from previous school years, and I brought them to kind of show you guys how I am adapting them. So these are kind of like the walls that I put on my word wall, the seasonal words, and I usually hang these up, and I'm sure that there are so many other primary grade teachers that do the same thing. So let's make use of it. So what I'm planning on doing with my students is going to show them, it's kind of like a vocabulary review. I do have a lot of ELL, so it's important for them to kind of get that vocabulary in. So this is a great way for me to kind of show them the words, go over the words, get them, familiar with these words, but we're also going to have a little fun with it. So aluminum foil, I found they love. Number one, because it's different. I guess just the way that maybe even the marker glides in the aluminum foil is fun. The way that, you know, you can stick stuff onto it is fun. And it's something that they don't use hardly ever. So come on. And most families do have aluminum foil available to them. So I would just let parents know ahead of time, hey, we're gonna be using aluminum foil tomorrow. Can you please bring it out? Anyways, back to what I was saying is I would actually have them write the words on the aluminum foil. So let's say, and I wouldn't do all of them, obviously, you know, pick 4 or 5 if we're talking about, you know, the Christmas tree or a tree in general. We would show them the picture, and then I would even have them try to sound it out. Let's talk about, what is this? A tree. Now let's spell it. I'm gonna cover the word. What sounds do you hear? And then they would write it E, and obviously we're doing, you know, inventive spelling in kindergarten, so it's not going to be exact, even though they're going to want it to be this way. You kind of talk to them about how we're listening to the sounds that we hear in the word tree or other holiday words. So this is another way that you guys can adapt all of these little cards that you have, you know, just everywhere in your room. Adapt it, and this is one way to do it. I just thought of something with aluminum foil, but I'll tell you about it a little bit after this one. Okay, so the next thing is baking letters and baking numbers. So again, you're going to get your aluminum tray or aluminum foil, or if they have a baking tray, whatever the case may be, and we're going to bake some letters. So I would have them form letters using their Play-Doh. Or if they don't have Play-Doh, they can definitely write it on with a dry erase marker, and then we're gonna bake it. So now this is where like the teacher in me kind of comes out, and that whole like kind of putting on a show, making things more exciting. So when I do this, I am planning on doing it in my kitchen. I'm going to ask students if they also want to go to their kitchen. If it is, you know, a safe environment for them, I can encourage them to go to their kitchen, and we're gonna bake in the kitchen together. You can do this during small groups. That way there's not so much like, you know, madness, you know, everyone running around with their laptops everywhere, you know, and we can bake in our kitchen. I can, you know, kind of put my laptop there and just kind of like, all right, we're gonna bake the letter S. We would form the letter S with our Play-Doh, put it in the oven. You can also do a quick little timer, like a digital timer, and have it, and then when they hear the alarm, that means they gotta take it out and show you their letters that they have created. This is another fun way to kind of, you know, change things up a little bit and make it more fun, more engaging, because they need it. If your kids have access to aluminum foil, I'm thinking that it could even be like a STEM challenge where they're using aluminum foil to kind of either create a house for an elf, to create a sleigh for Santa, creating, you know, an ornament. So that's another idea that I just thought of that I think I might write it down. You know, maybe taking 5 minutes at the end of, you know, your math block or your science block and just saying, all right, get your aluminum foil and create 4. And I think they'll have so much fun doing this. While filming these videos, I've noticed that I am a hand talker, and I'm going to try and stop that, but I don't know if it'll work. So typically during the holidays, at least in my school, Christmas, the holiday season is just like, it's so much fun. We do so many things, cookies with Santa, we have parents come over for breakfast, we do so much. And unfortunately we can't do that now, but there are things that we can do. So with my team, we kind of planned a virtual spirit week, a virtual holiday week, and I'm gonna put it right here. So as you can see, Monday we have holiday hair, so they can, you know, do their kind of silliest, their best holiday hair. The next day we have holiday gear, so they can wear, you know, their ugly sweaters, their holiday sweaters, you know, if they have little reindeer ears, antlers, whatever the case may be. And then on Wednesday, as you know, tradition states, when it's Christmas time, winter time, in schools, you have to have a pajama day. So we're going to have a virtual pajama day where kiddos can kind of, you know, come to virtual class in their PJs and show it off. And it's a form of a celebration for them. Anything like this, I think, will be super exciting for them. All right, so something else that I use, and I usually assign this along with a read aloud or a follow-up activity, is giving them the chance to go on to ABCYA. I give them a designated site or game to use on that. Now they do have a big section with holiday activities that you can do with your kiddos. For example, I just assigned a baking activity with them. So what I did was I assigned a Get Epic book all about baking and making cookies, and then the follow-up was a gingerbread cookie making game, which I think they really enjoyed because that is the theme of the month and of our unit is food, baking, holidays, all that fun stuff. So check out ABCYA for seasonal games, holiday games. They definitely enjoy it, and it's something that's a little bit different. It takes them away from the whole Google Suite thing, and it takes them to like a fun game. Okay, so something that I do with my kids in the classroom is I like to do wordless picture books. I think that this encourages the use of vocabulary. It gets them to actually look at the pictures of the book, pay real close attention to what they see in the images, and you can do this with books that are holiday theme related that already have words. For example, now I don't have my holiday books here because I haven't been back to my classroom. I have to actually go get them in like a few hours, but anyways, this is an example. So if you're reading this story, this is Un pato en bicicleta, duck on a bike. And what you would do is, instead of reading the story to them, because while Duck on a Bike is one of the stories that it kind of flows, it goes quickly, there are some stories that are seasonal and holiday based that are a little bit more lengthy. And when you're with your kids virtually, their attention span seems to be like cut off by a few minutes. So when I'm doing read alouds that are long, I don't read the full text. Instead, what I do is I have my kids tell me the story. So for example, we'll say, okay, this is the title of so I'll just read the title. What do you think the story is going to be about? And then I tell them, okay, you guys are going to help me read the story. So we'll go through the pictures and I'll say, all right, can so-and-so tell me what do you think is happening here? And we'll kind of go through a story. They'll say something like, the duck is on a bicycle, he's being silly. All right, we turn the page. Then you pick on another student and they'll tell you what's happening in the story. And usually if you get books that are rich in pictures and their illustrations and even like their photographs, you can get so much out of it. And this is a great way to kind of infuse literacy, language, and make use of the text that you have available to you, but that you find that maybe is a bit too stagnant or like lengthy to read to them virtually. Next activity that I'm going to share with you, I am sure that you are no stranger to, but I just want to remind you of the greatness that is scavenger hunts. Okay, I do this with my kids at least once a week. I go on Teachers Pay Teachers, I find scavenger hunts for kindergarten, whether it's about colors, it's about themes, it's about letters. There are so many and they love them. They love getting up, they love showing you the things in their house. And one of my team teachers actually just shared with us a fabulous one about how the Grinch stole Christmas. So the way that it works is that each slide is a part of the story. And each slide tells the student what to get based on that part of the story. And it sounds a little complicated, but it's great. For example, it talks about Max, the Grinch's dog. So it'll talk about Max, what Max is doing, and then it will tell the kids, find something that a dog like Max would like to play with. What? I was like, this is great. You're reading a story to them. They're up on their feet finding stuff. It's super engaging, and this is great. If you're getting observed, this is a great lesson. I wish that I was getting observed now because this is what I would have done. There's also like, and it's getting them to understand the story much better because they're actually finding things that are a part of the story. So like, why not? So if you have not done scavenger hunts yet, please stop what you're doing and find some scavenger hunts because they are amazing. The kids love them. All right, so the last thing that I want to share with you guys is a gift idea for your students. Obviously, typically, gifts that we give to our students are something that's physical that we can, hand them to them. We usually, make it all cute and stuff. But I can't do that this year. We are unable to distribute items to the students or drop things off to their homes, which is totally understandable, seeing circumstances that we're in. But I thought of something that I think is a good alternative. What I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on mailing them some stuff. So I'm not going to be mailing them toys or anything like that. I'm just going to get an envelope, address it to them, and I'm going to put some stickers inside of it. I'm going to put a little note from me, and I'm also thinking of adding a $5 Dunkin' gift card, which is $5 typically what I would have spent anyways on their gifts. So maybe just adding a $5 Dunkin' gift card or anywhere that's like local to them that, it's a little sweet treat. Typically we have these classroom parties, but we obviously are not having them now. So maybe like another alternative, and this was a great idea from one of the second grade teachers at my school, is if you've heard of Cheryl's Cookies, they do have some holiday cookies that are $6 for a box. It's just, I believe it's one cookie and it kind of says season's greetings on it. If you want to go that route, that's also a great option. I think they'd be very excited to get a holiday cookie in the mail. Now, as far as the parent gift, what I'm thinking of doing is making it a surprise. I'm going to tell the kids, come close, come close, come close. We're gonna make a holiday gift for your parents, for your caregiver. It's a surprise, don't let them see it. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna have them create an ornament, have them draw on it, color it with watercolor. They're gonna cut it out, and then I'm gonna see if it's possible for them to maybe get some wrapping paper or to store it somewhere and give it to their parent on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, whenever it is that they do gift exchanges. And it's, you know, something that they're going to be super excited because it's a secret, and it's like, it's a surprise for mom, it's a surprise for dad, a surprise for grandma, whoever it may be. And I think it's, you know, if you, obviously we can't make, you know, the typical parent gifts that we normally do, but this is an alternative. So the reason why I just wanted to, I guess I should have started my video off with this, but the reason why I'm trying to do more of these activities is because I've noticed that many of my students are not completing the Google Classroom assignments, and I think it's due to the fact that maybe they don't have an adult with them kind of navigating them through the site, making sure that they turn it in and all that stuff. So most of their learning time, if not all of their learning, is done during live lessons. So I want to make it as meaningful and as fun as I possibly can. That way they're not missing out on anything, and in the time that they are, you know, that they aren't on Google Classroom when they really should be, they've gotten enough substance from the live teach. So with that being said, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch. I know I missed a week. I actually went away with my husband. We went to Connecticut, and if you guys have not been to this cute little town, Old Mystic Village in Connecticut, check it out. It is super cute, especially for the holiday season. Next week's video, I'm actually going to do like a teach with me kind of video because I have been doing things a little bit differently. I'm sure as many of you do, you guys kind of come up with things on the fly, and some of the things I'm like, oh, I wish I could share this, you know, with my YouTube community, which is so crazy to say. So I'm gonna take you along next week's ride. And yeah, guys, until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Another activity that I kind of thought of, I came up with on the spot, is gift bags. Do they use it? Another activity that you can do with your students virtually, and one that I thought of